Faye Marsay has been having a good run with the Disney Plus show Andor, but her journey on TV didn't start here, as she had previously featured on the hit HBO series Game of Thrones. And while both shows have some similarities, Faye Marsay has now revealed the difference between working in Star Wars and Game of Thrones. Keep watching this video to get the full scoop. What you need to know. Star Wars Andor, starring Faye Marsay as Vel Sartha, a Rebel Alliance member and the cousin of Mon Mothma, is presently 9 episodes deep on Disney Plus. And if you recognize Marsay from another hit show, it's because she appeared in an earlier season of Game of Thrones. Over the course of 11 episodes, spanning the 5th and 6th seasons, fans will remember that Marsay appears as the Waif before being killed off by Arya Stark. Marsay was recently asked if she felt greater pressure taking on a role in a new Star Wars film or joining Game of Thrones at the height of its popularity. Marsay made light of Game of Thrones by saying, "I don't know what it was about Game of Thrones, but I managed to keep my calm because the show was about something far larger than myself. The task at hand was one that I enjoy doing. You can accomplish what's expected of you pretty easily if you scale back your role and ignore the distractions surrounding you. It's not easy, but my job is to make other people's words sound real and to bring to life a character who has significance for the audience as much as for the writer of the script." She went on to say, "I found Game of Thrones a much easier job than one would think if you take all the noise out of it. I had a plotline with Maisie Williams, who was the most beloved character on the program at the time, and I acted horribly toward her while the show was at its peak popularity. That was challenging. However, I believe I was more anxious about the launch of the new massive Star Wars TV program, in which I was to play a major role. Did I get that right?" How did Matt Smith feel about Doctor Who versus House of the Dragon? It's not just Marsay who has appeared in other huge spaces besides Westeros. Matt Smith has played Daemon Targaryen in the Game of Thrones prequel series House of the Dragon. Of course, from 2010 to 2013, he also portrayed the 11th Doctor on Doctor Who. Recently, he revealed that, in comparison to joining the HBO series, he found it much more challenging to join the BBC franchise. Smith told the Los Angeles Times, "The pressure that came with Doctor Who is extraordinary. You're in a cast of maybe 10 on this. Hamlet is Hamlet, and Doctor Who is Doctor Who. When I was cast, I was 26 years old, and I doubt I will ever experience such intense pressure again. At least in Britain, a great deal of attention is being paid to that position." He also went on to say that, "People keep telling me that House of the Dragon is a great global franchise, but every day I just show up to work in a studio in Watford and hope that the lines are recorded in the appropriate order. It doesn't get any better than Doctor Who. So I think anyone who leaves will always be a little sad. To put it simply, he is the greatest hero. Just the thought of being able to go back in time is mind-blowing. Essentially, the sky's the limit. It's a challenging section to abandon." Andor audience demand now near Mandalorian levels, according to study. A new research shows that interest in Andor has increased in the past month and is now on par with that of another Star Wars series, The Mandalorian. Audience desire for Andor has caught up to that of The Mandalorian, according to research. Andor is the newest live-action Star Wars series to debut on Disney Plus, following in the footsteps of The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. It serves as a prequel to the 2016 film Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Cassian Andor, played by Diego Luna, is the protagonist of this prequel series, which takes place 5 years before the events of Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and chronicles the formative events that led to his becoming a hero of the rebellion. The early reviews for Andor have been overwhelmingly positive, with many commentators praising creator Tony Gilroy's more serious take on the Star Wars canon and the show's complex characters. Stellan Skarsgård, Genevieve O'Reilly, Kyle Soller, Denise Goff, Faye Marsay, and Adria Arjona all make appearances in Andor, with Adria Arjona playing the lead. Andor has already been renewed for a second season, which will consist of 12 episodes and carry the story up to the beginning of Rogue One, a Star Wars story, even though Season 1 has not yet completed. A research research conducted last month indicated that, despite positive ratings, Andor has the smallest demand among the Star Wars series. Now, a new report from Parrot Analytics shows that interest in Andor's storyline is on par with that of The Mandalorian. The company's demand forecast is based on an in-house system that compiles information from a wide variety of channels, such as online discussions, website traffic, blog posts, and more. A new analysis using data from October 15th through 21st shows that interest in Andor is 34.1 times that of the typical TV show, with The Mandalorian close behind at 34 times. Star Wars fans have been asking for more Andor, and here's why. The new research shows that The Mandalorian, which hasn't shown new episodes in nearly 2 years, is still popular with fans despite coming in second place to Andor in terms of audience demand. Andor's rising demand indicates the show may be benefiting from strong word of mouth, despite enjoying a tiny lead over The Mandalorian. Despite the fact that Andor has no A-list performers, is mostly unconnected to the Skywalker tale and other known Star Wars lore, and is targeted at older viewers, the show consistently receives positive reviews thanks to its excellent writing. Unlike The Mandalorian, Andor's narrative moves at a more leisurely pace, with political and bureaucratic intrigue within the Galactic Empire taking precedence over action sequences. Although it's highly unlikely that Andor will ever match The Mandalorian's peak ratings, the show does seem to be proving that fans are interested in experiencing a variety of stories set in the Star Wars universe. It will be interesting to see how the popularity and demand for Andor develops in the remaining episodes of Season 1 and in the upcoming Season 2. Surprising Andor Easter eggs deepens its KOTOR connections. Thanks to a hidden Easter egg, Andor now has even more ties to the KOTOR universe. The role-playing video game series based on the Star Wars franchise is legendary. Even though its importance to the Star Wars universe has been acknowledged in some live-action media, its storylines have never been adapted for the big or small screen. Some of the most memorable Knights of the Old Republic allusions have appeared in Andor. It was revealed in Episode 8 of Andor that one inmate would be taken to Belsavis, implying that the city is home to a jail. As an interesting aside, Star Wars The Old Republic, a massively multiplayer online game and spin-off of the original Knights of the Old Republic games, portrayed Belsavis as a prison planet. An earlier allusion to these games can be discovered in Episode 4 of Andor, when Luthen makes a remark about Rakatan invaders, and this Easter egg expands upon that. According to the video game canon, the Star Forge, a space station powered by the Force, was built by an alien race known as the Infinite Rakata Empire. For context, consider that Belsavis was formerly part of the Rakata Empire, the entire canonical history of the Rakata, according to Disney. When Disney acquired Lucasfilm in 2012, they discarded the Legends canon, of which the Knights of the Old Republic games are a part. That is to say, new Star Wars stories can simply disregard everything that took place in the games, including what was established about the Rakata. Some of the content from Legends, however, has already been incorporated into canon. Andor's Rakatan invaders comment suggests that their culture existed at some point in the history of the galaxy. We don't know much about them just yet, but Luthen's remark suggests that at least some of their actions took place in the new Disney canon. According to Luthen, his blue Kyber crystal commemorates an ancient uprising against Rakatan invaders. In the games, the Rakata were portrayed as a villainous race intent on establishing a galactic empire. The Infinite Rakata Empire ruled for a long time, but it eventually fell because its technology had become corrupted by the dark side of the Force. The Rakata were apparently vanquished at some point in the current canon, though the size of their empire and the reasons for its fall are unknown. So guys, which Faye Marsay character or show do you like best? Star Wars or Game of Thrones? Let us have your thoughts in the comment section. And if you enjoyed watching this video, it would be great if you gave it a like and a share so your friends can watch it too. Also, we'd appreciate it if you subscribed to our channel and tapped the notification bell. See you next time.